Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syafiqah binti Zebul Bahari. I am from JBC 2515F. I want to present to you about my mini research asset and fund management during pandemic. Let's watch. The COVID-19 epidemic is forcing the globe to new direction. Nobody will expect this situation will be exist. The most pressing concern is how the asset and funds management deal with the new COVID-19 environment. People who involve in this kind of financial strategy need to find the top priorities to involve in asset and funds management during this pandemic. This business thrives at issue solution and in increasingly globalist world. We are now faced with one of the most significant dilemma of our time, which is raising barriers and asking citizens to batten down the hedge. It's no longer considered standard business in the asset and funds management industry. Asset managers and third-party service providers must be on this lookout. While there are numerous obstacles to be tackled, the basic line is that the sector, its employee and customer, the markets and economies will survive. In fact, the industry will grow stronger as a result of the experience expanding its role in financial markets. As we know that the result of the COVID-19 pandemic uncertainty, new challenges have evolved. As because of the pandemic, stock market have plummeted, becoming extremely volatile and credit spreads have widened. Many asset classes have witnessed major decrease in liquidity as well as a postponed merger and acquisition transactions and the temporary closure of small financial markets. As investors seek to redeem or reallocate their holdings, their factors put significant strain on fund liquidity. As a result, asset managers have begun to adopt considerable protective measures. As seen by a well-known asset manager's recent decision to fence or hold open in the real estate investment funds in order to assure equal treatment for all investors. The health of their employee and the ability to continue operations have always been the top priorities for asset managers. Assessing the impact of the epidemic on the valuation of their investment funds portfolio assets, as well as ensuring appropriate liquidity, is a secondary but equally significant problem. There are three different business cases to evaluate. Firstly is a portfolio valuation every 3 months. The standard method for assessing unlisted investment portfolio on a quarterly basis is to look at a recent similar transaction each quarter and then calibrate the valuation to the preceding quarter and or transaction date using the data gathered. Market data has been missing, unreliable, or all since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and hence may not be useful for the quarterly valuation process. Secondly is to invest in a fund of funds management. Many asset managers rely on the valuation including in the net asset value provided by the fund they invested in when it comes to fund of funds management. These valuations are generally based on the underlying funds prior to quarter net asset value and are not always current with the net asset value date. We understand that for fund of funds management reporting as of 31st March 2020, when the pandemic's impact was felt in the markets, the net asset value available from their fund investments are frequently pre-COVID-19, in particular for illiquid funds. These net asset value are typically based on 31st December 2019 or earlier valuation dates. The influence on the market was less evident at such time, and even at the end of February 2020, while the impact on listed investment can be easily verified, it is more difficult to do so for unlisted investment. Finally, there are financial models and commercial plans to consider. Revenue, profitability, cash flow, and liquidity are all suffering as a result of the current social distancing requirements, which are compounded by economic concerns. Most businesses experience uncertainty when it comes to their business modeling scenario, which is in this setting play a critical role in decision making. If the models are built on solid assumptions and associated risks are adequately assessed. Decision makers require a collection of forecasts, scenario, and models for operational, reporting, and future investment objectives in order to traverse this ambiguity. In conclusion, COVID-19 creates significant uncertainty, and asset managers should assess whether the fund values utilized are sufficiently strong to yield a trustworthy net asset value. For what might be a long period of interruption, a long-term strategy will be required. As indicated, meticulous documentation of crucial decisions is required in order to provide an audit trail in the event of future inquiries. Thank you.